Well, here we are, another season of hockey. But this isn't just any NHL season. We've got a new uniform manufacturer after Adidas didn't want to renew their contract with the NHL. Instead, much to the dismay of many sports fans across the globe, Fanatics took the helm. If you somehow don't know who Fanatics is by now, simply put, they're the sports merchandise equivalent to Amazon. Both started as an e-commerce business before becoming bigger for better or for worse, and moved on to making their own products in addition to selling other products from other companies. Fast forward to 2017 when Adidas took over the NHL license, Fanatics was also in cahoots with them making NHL merchandise. The two companies made hats, shirts, and even jerseys. While Adidas had their Indonesian-made Authentics, later Prime Green, as well as their hard-to-obtain made-in-Canada Authentics, Fanatics made the base-level breakaway jerseys. However, unlike the previous base-level Reebok Premier jerseys which came before, many fans harshly criticized Fanatics' attempt from flat and shiny logos to using heat-pressed numbers and nameplates, as opposed to stitching and multi-layered front crest logos. The only thing improved from Reebok Premier to Fanatics Breakaway was switching from heat-pressed logos, which were notorious for peeling off, to stitching down the logo, but that's it. There have been many reports of numbers and nameplates peeling off of factory customized jerseys, not sure if they ever used stronger glue later down the line. Quality was going down, but the price surely didn't, and if you got a factory customized Fanatics or Adidas jersey with a name and number on it from the Fanatics website or even a Fanatics affiliate website, you better pray that they got everything correct. Sadly, jerseys weren't the only product affected by this. Fast forward to this year after Fanatics worked with Nike and MLB's recent uniform template released this year, which was announced to be slated for replacement before the All-Star break, by the way. Fanatics delves headfirst into making uniforms for a league. Before, they were working with other companies like Nike and Adidas to help make and release their products, but for the first time now, they're working by themselves. They did sign a 10-year deal with the NHL to make this happen. For the first handful of years, Fanatics jerseys will be identical to the Adidas template minus the shoulder dimples. That's strictly an Adidas thing. And surprisingly, these jerseys are pretty good. I've heard that the fabric is fine and the front crests aren't made out of crap. Both were major concerns of fans when the changeover was announced. So what will happen once Fanatics is tasked with creating their own templates or even their own alternate uniform programs? No one knows yet, though many suspect that Fanatics will cheap out after putting out a quality product to hook us all in. This is also far from the only time where a different company took over for a league after Adidas and still used Adidas templates. Just look at New Era's first year in the CFL in 2019 after their own stint with Adidas. Personally, I'm praying that they put their all into it after seeing the countless promotional videos they made in the lead up to the jerseys being unveiled. This is, after all, Fanatics' biggest opportunity to shake their terrible reputation and be on good terms with sports fans for once. As for other news, more teams have come out this year with ads on jerseys. It all started with the helmet sponsors after COVID, then followed up with some teams adding a sponsor patch to the front after seeing how much money every NBA team makes off of having ads on their jerseys. We were told that the helmet ads were just temporary, but no, they were only the gateway drug. I'm not surprised that this happened, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. I'm now praying that these don't end up like what the WNBA has. But unlike the NBA, some teams have different ads for their home and road jerseys. I don't even think soccer does that. Feel free to correct me. So if that leaks into the NBA, you'll know where the inspiration came from. I do find the helmet sponsors less egregious because they're much easier to ignore and forget about, so I'm not going to comment on them unlike the more prominent jersey ads. But much like the NBA's first season under Nike in the 2017-2018 season, not every team has a sponsor patch on the jersey, meaning those fan bases not affected can rejoice until an official announcement gets made. With last year's categories, I felt I overdid things because unlike other leagues who will update looks, no one besides the NHL just straight up goes back to an exact look from another point in time. For crying out loud, in the NFL, the Buccaneers and Browns 2020 redesigns aren't exact to what came before because they kept the helmet from their previous Nike redesigns. Examples like the Oilers and Senators, aside from being in the Adidas template, are exactly like previous looks that both teams have sported with little to no differentiation. So instead, I'll designate every return to a previous look as a redesign, with the exception of the Bruins because their redesign last year was only meant for their 100th anniversary, whereas other in-between designs like the Oilers wearing orange lasted more than one season. With that out of the way, we've got garbage for tragically awful colorful designs, needs a redesign, which is self-explanatory, meh for unis that I simply don't care about, good redesign for all the redesigns I like that stretch back to 2014, as I feel a decade tests whether or not it was a good idea to change the team's look. Decent is reserved for good designs that stretch back from 2005 to 2013, as they're older than other redesigns and not quite 20 years old, which leaves room for them to get replaced. Or I like the uniform sets from expansion teams that aren't a decade old yet, and classic for designs that I like which are 20 years old and have stood the test of time in my eyes. Unlike last year where teams revealed alternate jerseys during the season, Fanatics isn't going to release any new alternates until next season, though I wouldn't doubt teams will still reveal new alternates meant for next year during the season regardless, meaning I might have some TikToks and YouTube shorts to make in the meantime. So throughout the month of October, join me as we venture into the first year of a very hated company making uniforms by themselves for the very first time. I promise it'll be fun. Our journey begins October 1st with the Western Conference in the Central Division with the Chicago Blackhawks.